hair looks like quinceañera hair. Anyways, hey you guys, it's another day here with Candid with Kat, and today I have a secret. I have a secret that my family knows, obviously, and some of my really close friends. Recently, with the Black Lives Matter movement, I realized that the Latino community, for the most part, is really supportive. And I know the Black Lives Matter movement is still going on, and we've been really supportive. But there are some people in my community that feel like, you know, because there have been videos about some African American young men bothering our eloteros, and they're using that and running with it and being like, see, the African American community doesn't support us, and so why should we support them? Which is really wrong and really stupid to think that way, because we're minorities and we should stick together, because clearly the system needs work. And if we try to do it separately, there's no way that we are going to make a change and a difference, because the more people that are for this movement, the faster and the bigger impact we have on the system. I realize that I am so supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement, the LGBT community. I am so supportive when it comes to other people fighting for their rights, which I ultimately understand that it is beneficial for the Latino community. But I am so for it, and I'm so vocal about it. But when it comes to the Latino community, I feel like I have failed. I have failed you, and I have failed myself. The Black Lives Matter movement has inspired me to be more vocal about the needs of my community. And there was this video that I'm pretty sure he was Mexican. I can say that, I'm Mexican. There's this video that this guy made, and he was talking about how, you know, we don't support our community as much as we support other communities. But that hit really home. That hit home for me, because in my case, it is true. I go harder for other communities than my own. And I have a reason for that. And I'll tell you, it's been out of fear of not so much friendships, just relationships, work relationships. Is it going to affect my job? Is it going to affect my work? Are people going to see me different? Am I going to be looked at as someone weak? Are men going to be like, oh, she's only talking to me because she needs papers? I said it. As some uneducated people would like to say, I'm an illegal immigrant. I am an undocumented immigrant. I am on DACA, and a huge reason why I'm deciding to speak out about this is because there is a huge possibility that the DACA program will end July of this year or the end of June. And I have no idea what my future holds if DACA ends. I don't care if DACA ends. For me personally, I don't care if there's something better, like a path to citizenship. Now, the reason I'm deciding to make this, like I said, is because I want people to get educated about this. Let me tell you what some people think, that there is this path to citizenship. Well, I was brought here when I was 4 years old. I was asleep in the back of a truck. My family members that were distant family members brought me to the United States, and then my parents followed. I remember being 4 years old and having anxiety and missing my parents. But finally we got reunited here in the United States. And I remember not knowing the language, but I didn't really realize the impact of being an undocumented immigrant until I was 18 and I was trying to work. I didn't really notice that I was too different. Yeah, I wasn't raised rich, and yes, I do remember my mom constantly telling me that we didn't have money, but we also owned our own home, so I thought that she was just being cheap. Sorry, Mom. But my mom is frugal, but she is a very good saver. Anyway, so I don't remember feeling out of place, and it wasn't until I got to high school. What happened is I went to a very multicultural middle school. So when I got to high school, it wasn't very multicultural. It was a predominantly white Caucasian school. And because I was coming from a brand new school, there was a lot of programs that we didn't have, and we were a bunch of multicultural kids going to this big, huge high school, and they had already built relationships because they were all from the same city. We were from a different city, but at the time we didn't, or area, but at the time we didn't have a high school in our area because it was a new, American Canyon is like really small and it was growing at the time. So we had barely just gotten the middle school. So when I went to high school is when I felt, I think for the very first time, some type of desprecio, some type of like rejection. I felt it from certain teachers, I felt it from certain coaches, and I was like really depressed in high school because of that. I couldn't pinpoint it at the time, but now I know. Now, my parents always told me, educate yourself. I graduated with a 4.33 from high school. There were times where I wanted to give up. And I would say, what's the point, Mom? What's the point? Because once I graduate, it's not like I can work in my field. And my parents would always tell me, prepare yourself, because when the time comes, you will have everything you need to pursue that job, because an opportunity is coming. So with a hope that something would change. Everyone talks about a path to citizenship. If you were my age, 2, 3, 4, 1 year old, months old, and you crossed over illegally without documents, there is no path to citizenship. It is much easier for someone that came here with a visa, and my parents couldn't get a visa in Mexico. They didn't have that kind of money. They didn't own property, so they couldn't get a visa to come here. We didn't come here on a visa. People who come here on a visa and overstay their visa can get married, and in a short period of time, they can, get documents, or there's a path. But for people that came here undocumented, there isn't. And it is not my fault that I came here undocumented. It is not my fault that I'm 33 years old and I'm still undocumented, and I've spent my whole life in a country that I call home. And it hasn't hit me. I wanted to push the feelings aside of rejection, or the feelings of oppression, or the feelings, as someone recently said to me, you really like to use the Mexican card. I don't know what she meant by that. All I can freaking say, it's the only one I got. I only got a matricular. What now? Like, it's the only one I got. What else do you want me to use? So stupid. So, I don't know if I'm yelling at everybody, but I'm getting like really passionate. It feels weird to open up about this, and maybe I still feel safe because I'm behind the camera and I haven't. But I know for a fact that most of the people, even some people that are still close to me, have no idea that this is my journey, that this has been my journey. It was not in my control to come here, but I was brought here, and I'm thankful for my parents that they brought me here, because this is the land of opportunity, and I have made it something. But when my fear was that people would look at me and think of like, oh, she's a criminal, or oh, she's trying to get by the system by not becoming a citizen. I can't. You talk about doing it the right way. Would you have preferred that I married somebody just for papers? Would you have preferred that I'm gonna take it real slow on this one, because another way that you can get papers is if you have been sexually assaulted and obviously report the person. That was not something I was willing to do. So I always wanted to, in my way, that wasn't the right way. And let me tell you, it's ignorance, because I'm not judging anybody who has, because the right thing to do is report. And I'm not judging anybody who maybe fell in love and just got married just a little bit sooner because their partners and their future depended on it. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that I wanted to always marry for love, and I didn't want to get papers through, in my ignorant mind, I wanted to get papers the right way. I wanted the president or the laws to change in order for me to get papers. Well, thanks to President Obama, I have an opportunity. But this opportunity I'm thankful. Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't actually be able to work in the field of what I studied in. So I'm really thankful for that. There's a huge thing that we are not allowed to do as DACA recipients, and that is travel outside of this country. I have family in Mexico. There are places that I want to know. I want to be a cultured person and get to know more about this world, and yet I cannot leave because I cannot come back. And originally when Obama put in the DACA, we could leave under certain circumstances. But I was too scared to even do that. I was too scared to even ask permission to leave. I didn't want people to look at me and think that I didn't fit in. I didn't want people to look at me and think that I wanted something handed to me, because I'm willing to work, and I have worked for everything that I have. But now I'm actually scared. I'm scared because I don't feel supported by the president. I'm scared because he's so wishy-washy. I have refrained from speaking about him. I have refrained from speaking about a lot of political things that affect my community because it relates to me. And I thought that it could affect me. It's a fear for the longest time. Like, even getting pulled over by a cop was scary. Because even though I had a driver's license, but for me it was so new to have a driver's license that I was scared to get pulled over. I was like, what if there's like a mark on my driver's license that says like undocumented immigrant? Like, I don't want I don't want to be categorized as that, because I am a lot more, and I've done a lot more for the United States. For God's sakes, I'm working with US citizens who were dealt shitty cards and grew up in crappy lives, and I'm telling them, yes, you have this crappy card. You've been dealt these crappy cards, but do something. Make something out of it. You can do it. And I'm helping people. I'm helping people have hope and be hopeful. Even though at this moment, I am so scared to get my hopes up. You can send me back to Mexico. I'm gonna make something out of myself there. But I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. It's not right. I didn't have a choice. The only choice I had was to do something with my life or not. And I decided to do something with my life. I don't want anything handed to me. But it's morally wrong to keep me in this DACA program, saying you can work for us, you can make money for us, you can continue to help our citizens, you can continue to make a life for yourself, but no, you cannot leave the United States. You can't do that. I'm not even asking for citizenship. I'm just asking to be able to leave the United States. And this is personal, right? Other people may, I know, want that. And they deserve it. I know I'm not the only one. And every DACA recipient has a different story. Every single person has a different story. But I want to thank the Black Lives Matter movement, because you have given me a voice. And even though I am so scared about what's going to happen with me and with the other 699,000 people that are on the DACA program, I'm so scared what's going to happen. because I love what I do here. And even though I know that I would make something of myself in Mexico, I would be so disappointed. And I would almost lose a little bit of faith in humanity if that happened. So that's my big secret. I remember going to clubs and like having to take out my passport, and even that was embarrassing. My Mexican passport, even that was embarrassing. Because when you're growing up, all you want to do is like fit in. I have heard so many inappropriate comments in the workplace and in different areas because I feel like I've blended pretty well. And I've not said a word. Why? To fit in. And it's wrong. And I'm done doing that. I'm done doing that. If I'm dating you, I'm not dating you because I want your papers. I could have done that a long time ago. I could have figured out a way. I had family members when I was younger that wanted to adopt me, that were documented, that were citizens. But I didn't want to do that to my parents because I felt like it was a big fuck you to them. Especially after they put their lives on the line, and I felt like I was betraying them. And I always had hope. So for 29 years, I have had a hope that the United States would see the good in me and would give me the opportunity, and not just me, but a bunch of us, a bunch of us would give us the opportunity. And here I am. I feel like I cry in all of my videos. Like, I don't want to cry anymore. But I'm an emotional person. And any DACA recipient, not just Mexican, because it's not only Mexican people that are on DACA. For any undocumented immigrant, I can't. I know it is scary. I know it is scary to get out in the streets and to peacefully protest, because I'm terrified. But we have to. Tenemos que hacerlo por nuestra gente. Porque no somos animales y porque no lo merecemos. Hemos contribuido a este país como que para que simplemente nos traten como un cero a la izquierda. I'm done being quiet about this. You can put me in a box. You can put me in a cage. You can label me. I know what I am. And I know what I bring to the table. So I'm not gonna go down without a fight. I love you guys. Thanks for your support. Thank you for watching another video where I'm freaking crying. But I hope that you all join me in facing our fears. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. If you don't want to share like any video, share, like, and subscribe this one. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all.